Very good morning. I hope I'm audible and clear. So I just wanted to start off with a few questions early in the morning. I'm sure you've all had breakfast, but just wanted to start off asking what actually comes to your mind when you see these pictures. Any takers from the crowd on what actually comes to your mind? Maybe we'll start with the chewing gum. Any thoughts on why I've put this here? You can call out, I can probably, any of the pictures, if you want to just call out why it is. Watson is IBM, agree. Maybe I'll start with the chewing gum. Any call outs? Sorry? Deep blue is there. That's on the chest. But chewing gum and iron box, very odd. Yeah. You're right, Jeopardy is Watson. Okay. Any last takers for the chewing gum and iron box? If not, I'll start. Any callouts? Okay. So the reason why I put this chewing gum is basically because I'm sure all of you know the importance. Am I coming through clearly? Yeah. All of you know the importance of barcode. UPC, or barcode, was first put on this chewing gum for a retailer called Marsh, right? Wrigley's chewing gum was the first which got scanned with the barcode. So I just thought I should put that across. The next one is something very interesting, which I learned as I was, looking for historic events which have changed the world, right? Iron box. The reason why I put that across is one of our IBM inventors was trying to understand how to put a magnetic strip on a plastic card. And I'm sure we all know the importance of magnetic strip on a plastic card today. But during that time, the magnetic strip on the plastic card was for an ID, not for credit cards. So it was actually his spouse who was doing some stitching, said, let me try this and fix this magnetic strip on a plastic card. But that went into some sort of processing later on. But that's how the first one came into place. So these two innovations, similarly, if you really look at it, the reason why I'm bringing this up is, if you look at it, it is continuous innovations which has been happened over the 100+ years, which we as a company have been with. In the terms of AI, if you really look at it, I'm sure Garry Kasparov, one of the greatest chess players which we've come across, when machine learning was put together, along with really trying to understand how Garry Kasparov thinks, and ability for our programs and algorithms were put together with machine learning, deep learning together, and take on Garry Kasparov. One of the gentlemen here answered it. Deep Blue is where the machine learning was put to test a couple of years back. Similarly, from machine learning, they took on to NLP, Q&A, went on with Jeopardy, which is where the whole natural language processing came into play, and that's exactly where it gave way into how do I improve from what was done as deep learning, machine learning, and neural networks into NLP. In the sense, they started bringing the customer touch points. So as and when today in the world of ChatGPT, the only reason why it became so famous is it was able to reach the end consumer. So what NLP started off as part of Jeopardy is something which we've evolved, which we've developed, and we've come up with the Watson X solutions for data, AI, and governance, which is effectively for enterprise. While the customer grade experience is kept in mind, but how do you actually bring it together? So that's the context which I just wanted to give you, because if you really look at what we've done over the years, the focus very clearly for us, one of the most important IBM values among the three is very clearly innovation that matters for the world and our clients, right? In that context, I talked about some of the innovations, there are many. We've actually been associated with the whole AI journey right from the 1950s or 56, when the first AI conference was put together, when John McCarthy actually coined the word artificial intelligence. Then on, it's been our journey over the years. The reason why I wanted to give this context is, while there is a lot of newbies, startups, I think research and innovation, trying to look at how we can bring what's happening in the current world, enabled with our research and technology, together to make it enterprise ready has been our focus, and that's the way we've been trying to evolve, working for our clients and deliver to our clients. If you really look at the IBM journey, IBM itself is from a GCC perspective. When we started off almost, I know in the introduction it came up that I've been with IBM for the last 28 years. Almost 25 years back is when we looked at the IBM GCC for IBM itself. So we've gone through that sort of a transformation for making sure that we actually set up the India Center as a unique microcosm of the global center and evolve the IBM India Center, whether it is in terms of research, technology, or services for our own internal purposes as well as our clients. That's the way we have set up the whole unit. With that said, right from the innovations, you can see that the foundation models, what we have sort of seen, is very clearly bringing a huge change in the way, right from NLP to what's happening in today's world, is bringing this, what I call as the tectonic shift of how AI can be effectively used. And what we are seeing more and more is to really look at moving away from the traditional models of silo-based related aspects, which was the AI, to what we are seeing as both large language models and the next set of small language models and the fine-tuned models to effectively bring in industry-based specific solutions. The way we are going about it is to really look at the supervised learning which used to happen, specifically for one specific area, is being put into the entire modeling. And then, based on your specific enterprise need, which is where the small language models are coming in, and then you're fine-tuning to make sure that the results are something which is going to be effective for your enterprise. The most important thing, what we are seeing in the AI journey, is very clearly the need to make sure that you can keep yourself differentiated. There's definitely lots of data which is available, which the large language models bring in. And as you look at bringing your own enterprise small language models and the fine-tuned models, that's when you can start refining and making sure that that can be effective for you as your enterprise as well as your clients. How do you go about this particular aspect? The way you go about this journey is what we have coined out as moving from plus AI to AI plus. What do I really mean by moving from plus AI to AI plus? In today's journey, I think all of us are aware that digitization is a given thing, right? Everything is being moved towards how do we digitize it. But the way it is going through a transformation very clearly is you have a digital roadmap, you're going through digital transformation, but along with that, okay, let's also have something with AI, is the way plus AI is coming in. What we are really advising is while you're thinking from a plus AI perspective, start building your foundation for your data and data models effectively to look at it from a true AI plus lens. What do I mean from an AI plus lens? If you really look at it from what's happening in today's world, everything's going to be driven significantly with the AI lens. In which case, can I look at, when I'm going through a transformation, can I look at it from an AI business process operations, AI-led supply chain, AI-led retail industry solutions? So if you look at it from that angle, rather than looking at it, okay, I have all this done, okay, let me also add an AI component. So our recommendation is to really go ahead and effectively use an area where we can really go about making sure that you move your journey from just being an add-on of AI, but look at it from an end-to-end perspective of plus AI to AI plus. How do you actually do this? You really need to go ahead and re-engineer your entire workflows. AI is not going to be something where you're just going to add on. What you need to really look at it is what's your ecosystem, what's your enterprise workflows, and look at it from a combination of automation as well as AI, and then how and where do you really need the generative AI aspects. More than often, you might probably not need anything to be generated at all. You can probably just do with automation and AI, and only on a need basis where there's an interaction needed, you can go in with the Gen AI related aspects. So that's the way we are actually looking for different clients on trying to see what's your current workflow. Are there areas where you can just put in automation and bring in an AI layer to really effectively make use of the AI engines which has been developed, the models which has been developed, and then look at how do you bring in the generative AI on top of it. So that's the recommendation what we have. How do you go about it is basically something which we have assets and accelerators as we have evolved over the journey working with the different clients. When we really look at it, some of the key areas where we are seeing benefits very clearly is starting up from the operations related aspects. When we are talking about operations, the whole aspect of summarization or content generation related aspects, even for the marketing team, which we are effectively leveraging for our own purposes, the content generation aspect saw significant reduction by using the GenAI tools what we have in our own practices, right? The other area where we have seen significant productivity or employee productivity area is the area of code generation. We've got into the mode of, is there areas where we can really facilitate in using the large language models to code generation? I'm sure many of you have, as part of the GCCs, have global applications which are mainframe based or legacy based. As part of that, the transformation what you need to do from legacy to a microservices based, there are code bases which are there in the large language model. One of them is Star Coder, where you can actually move your applications, which is in COBOL, PL1 or PLS modules, into a microservices-enabled architecture by effectively using this. And that is exactly where we are also seeing significant cost reductions when we are making use of this. So at a very high level, on an average, 30 to 40% reduction, as well as improving the employee productivity is what we are seeing. So one of the key things which I started off out here is, I'm sure all of you as leaders for your organization have your enterprise ambition on how we are going to effectively use the GenAI for your organization. The next couple of slides is just to give you a view on how we have actually enabled some clients through the GenAI journey and taking them through the transformation. So when we look at it, we've categorized the whole GenAI into 4 areas: front office, back office, game-changing AI for products and services, and then the core capabilities. So if you look at one of the large European conglomerates, the whole chat interface was definitely there in the earlier model of just basic NLP, but the organization, the European bank, realized that that is not really effective. So when we looked into fine-tuning the models and bringing in the NLP with the GenAI models, they actually saw significant reduction in the employee productivity related aspects and brought in cost savings out there. But more than anything, the accuracy of the responses started improving. And the customers started using the chat interface much better. And that's exactly where we effectively have worked with this large European bank to bring in the GenAI solutions live for them. The next one is something which I think similar to that was more from the front office perspective. If I really look at it from a back office, the whole procurement engine goes into checking quotes, checking contracts, and so on. There's a lot of manual process. We spoke about content and summarization related aspects, and this is exactly where the GenAI models of content summarizations have come into aspects, and trying to compare between contract, quotation issued, as well as the numbers, and reducing the manual effort. This is another client where we've actually gone in and facilitated in verifying the quotes. Similar aspects are happening both at the HR area. For example, I'm sure we've all gone through the whole tax filing. For me, in the IBM organization today, we have a tool called Ask HR, which basically I just need to go in and put in that I need Form 16 for this year, and it actually tells me that it's downloaded and this is exactly where you have it. The earlier process is I would send an email to a specific person, they would look at it and send it back. That whole process in the back office with respect to procurement, operations related aspects, as well as in terms of legal and finances, is something with respect to reconciliation. Very clearly, a very important set of use cases are being evolved and developed. The other area of what we are seeing from a core capabilities is for a large cement industry. What we've really looked at it is, are there areas where we can go in and look at it from an EBITDA improvement perspective? We've looked at specific use cases. For example, in this particular cement industry, I'm sure those who are familiar with the cement industry definitely know that gypsum is one of the most important components in terms of cement. And we just looking at the gypsum salt in the cement and trying to help them that if you reduce the percentage of gypsum wastage, your overall EBITDA improvement can be significantly high, and use it for other purposes. This is another area where we've also looked at it from an industry-specific solution. So what I wanted to touch upon is to really go about areas where you can look at it either from the front office, back office, or core capabilities, and then go into what we actually saw as part of the video, right? You saw the US Open Masters Golf. This is about what we've done with Wimbledon. I'm sure you would hear about it more from one of my colleagues, but out here again, the whole aspect was very clearly look at it from how do you enable the productization or the services of what has already been developed. And the way we went about here is to really look at from personalization as well as the cross-sell, upsell opportunities what you have. So if you really look at the ambitions of your organization, try to start prioritizing what are your key areas where you need to focus on, and how do you actually bring it to life. And some of the areas, because today I'm sure all of us are very clearly facing challenges. We know, and in all fairness, right, while GenAI is in motion, lots of projects are happening, there is very clear view that it's not scaling up. Pilots are failing. What's the reason? So when we are really looking at why some of the pilots are not really scaling up, again, I'll probably come up with a question at this particular, the blue is reason for a question, is we've realized that there is a lack of accountability, right from setting up the tone to going in and making sure that there is data provenance related aspects, accuracy of data is something which is very important for the GenAI models to be successful. There's also the reason for explainability, which is extremely critical. But last but not the least, I wanted to understand from you again, is there a reason why you believe the GenAI pilots are not really scaling or it's failing in today's world? Very important aspect which I wanted to bring it up. Any thoughts? Prioritization of the use case, very clear. Sorry? Adaptability or adoption or acceptance, very important. But the point which I was looking very clearly is with respect to end-to-end from a customer experience perspective. I think in the earlier, our gentleman did mention about the importance of customer experience. You would see that in the video when I wrap up this session. But very clearly, if you really look at it, okay, I'm going to bring in GenAI, if you're not going to look at it from delivering consumer-grade customer experiences, that's an area where we are seeing that it's really faltering. So importance of making sure that the data accuracy is there, acceptance, adoption is very much there, as well as look at it from delivering end-to-end customer experience, and consumer-grade experience is a very clear focus area. So in the interest of time, I'll probably just go through a couple of last set of slides. What I wanted to give you is there are tools and solutions which IBM has brought in to effectively enable you through our Watson platform, where we have Watson.data, where you can put in your data lake related aspects. Then you can build in your AI models using WatsonX.ai. Then also bring in the whole governance, which is very, very critical, which is what we have brought in as part of the evolution of Watson journey. But when I look at it, that's more from an IBM WatsonX perspective. But the more important thing out here is how do we enable the whole ecosystem partnership. If you really look at it, our ability to work with the different partners is something what we really feel is extremely important. While WatsonX is a component, what are we doing with Adobe, what are we doing with Salesforce, and what are we doing with AWS and SAP is a very clear way of how we have evolved and how we are evolving with each of our clients and also with the partners. There is also a very important asset which we've built where it's IBM Consulting Advantage, which is a platform which we are taking to our own employees as well as our clients to leverage this whole journey through GenAI so that the pre-bake assets can be leveraged for your growth. With that said, I just wanted to leave you with some of the IBV studies on how we are working through this GenAI transformation for our clients and our own self internally. But more than anything, also wanted to call out a very important thing which I called out, saying that the GenAI journey is not about trying to compete with each other, but it's all about how we effectively partner and enable each other. With that said, I just wanted to thank you for giving this opportunity. Hopefully this was helpful, and I look forward to sharing, networking, and learning during the course of the day today.